Right Network. Mobilizing, countering the left, energizing the right. New Right Network, home of the New Right movement.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to New Right Network's original series, Smith TV. Your host, Brian Smith, giving you all the breaking news of the day, wrapping it all up, making sense of it, exposing the fake news, and giving you the real news every single day, Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Mark your calendars, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the share. If you're on the YouTubes, make sure you hit the notification so that you get the message that the show's live, as well on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you very much. Today is Monday, and we've got a lot of news that was breaking over the weekend, a lot of information that's come out. I'm not going to be able to get to all of it. It's just absolutely impossible. Probably not going to be able to get to the hashtag sex strike, but you could probably live a little bit longer and not even have to worry about that at all. Anyways, so we've got Islam that has infiltrated our Congress, our elected officials, full-blown Muslim, and we've talked about Barack Obama being Muslim. There was one interview he was doing, and he said my Muslim faith, and the guy corrected him, said, "You mean your Christian faith?" And Barack Obama was quick, "Oh, yeah, I mean my Christian faith." So we know where Obama was at when it comes to religion. There was no love law, no love for Christianities and bringing over Christian refugees. It was always Islamic refugees. And now we've got up in Minnesota, huge areas of Palestinian refugees. And now we've got elected officials, Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, making news over the weekend, more anti-Semitism, more hate for Israel, and we know exactly where that comes from. That's because of their faith in Islam. Islam, a culture or a cult of death. If you don't kneel down, if you don't abide by the rules, if you don't do what they say, you're either beheaded, ostracized, you could still be stoned. People are whipped and beaten in the streets. And now we are knee deep in the month of Ramadan. Ramadan is the holy month once a year. At this time of the year where Islam, I say they go out and it's like a month of free for all where they go out. And so for this whole month, you're supposed to go out and kill infidels for the month of Ramadan. And we've got some statistics on how that's proven me to be more and more right every day. We've got the Democrat 2020. Can't call them hopefuls because I don't know what they're hoping for. Maybe a miracle or something, but they're out of control. So we'll go down a list of them as well. They're making news over the weekend. There's definitely some breaking news with Spygate and big tech once again making these show notes. And for those of you folks, if you look down in the description below, there's a link that says full show notes. Click that, and that'll take you over to the article at newrightnetwork.com, and that'll have the full list of the 3-page show notes with all the links and all the different individuals that we showcase here from Twitter, primarily from Twitter, but also other articles that are tweeted out. We have the links down in the show notes. And there's a new link in the show notes. Don't miss this. Telegram. We've been on Telegram for a while. We actually have a private message meetup group. And if you'd like to be a part of that, jump over to SmythTV, become a Patreon. And we talk with these individuals 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can pick our brains. You can talk about politics. You can talk about not politics. You talk about whatever you want. It's a great time. A lot of great minds. A safe space, if you will, for those who support our president, Donald Trump. So Telegram, jump down there in the show notes. Click the link. The link will take you over to Telegram, and you'll pop into the group. You'll get all the information of when the show goes live and everything having to do with Smith TV. So appreciate that as much. And as we jump into it, let's start off with the tariffs. Woke up this morning and all of a sudden, Washington Compost blasting me about Dow Jones. Dow Jones just fell 600. Donald Trump and his tariff wars catching heat from China. So yes, China, billions in tariff war. Since Donald Trump has put tariffs on China hoping for a Democrat to get elected. Absolutely. They would love to see Biden get elected because Biden has deep ties with China, also with the Ukraine. That actually made news this weekend. We'll be talking about that. And thank you, Rand Paul, for bringing that up, as we need to keep revisiting these things that the Democrats have done in the past and not let them get away with the crooked, dirty deeds and the dealings that have enriched them and their families to the tunes of tens of millions of dollars. So back to the tariff, the trade war, and the Dow Jones sinking this morning as it opened up. Donald Trump tweeting out over the weekend, I say openly to President Xi and all of my many friends in China that China will be hurt very badly if you don't make a deal because companies will be forced to leave China for other countries. Too expensive to buy in China. You had a great deal, almost completed, and you backed out. So thank you, Donald Trump, for tweeting out and letting us know what really happened with that China trade deal. And again, China hoping for a Democrat to be elected, thinking that they'll allow China to continue to rip America off. Folks, it is Buy America. I remember back in the 80s when I was growing up, everybody said, Buy American, Buy American. I know it's a little bit more expensive, but it's better quality made stuff. You all know that the stuff that you buy at the dollar store or some of the stuff that comes out of Walmart, stuff that breaks, it's cheaply put together. You know what that stuff is. Or going over to Harbor Freight. I know I'm blasting out on some people, but I'm never buying anything from Harbor Freight again. I've swore them off my list. I'm never going to do it. Harbor Freight, sorry, man. You guys, you done me wrong one too many times. Stuff too cheap. Anyways, and Donald Trump tweeting out again, the unexpectedly good first quarter 3.2% GDP growth was greatly helped by tariffs from China. Some people just don't get it. Oh, and then one of our followers, Tom Cat at Tom Super Cat, tweeted out this picture to Donald Trump. For those of you audio only, it is a Trump train running over a donkey. Yes, 2020 is going to be very, very difficult for the Democrats. They've got nothing going for them. Their message is wrong. They're not resonating with the people. Here on social media, we're able to expose the Democrats. We're able to expose their lies, how they cheat, they double talk day in and day out, and they're all on display here on social media. So I love to dig into this stuff and really just expose who they are. The tariff war, if you will, we've got to hold on. You've got to hang in there. Donald Trump's making the right decisions at the right time, and we can't continue to keep getting ripped off to the tune of billions and billions and trillions of dollars every year. It has to stop. We've got to have this war and confront it now. And if Trump doesn't confront it right now, it's never going to be confronted. There's no Republican out there that's going to confront this. And no Democrat is going to confront this. Democrats are like this. They love America getting ripped off. And speaking of Democrats going to have a very difficult time for 2020, they're already enlisting Facebook and Twitter, as well as all the media out there, the mainstream media, old school media, enlisting them in the ranks of their soldiers in order to fight Donald Trump because they can't do it without this type of help. And I don't know if I'm allowed to post this up, so I'm going to get in trouble for this one. This by Infowars.com. Oh no. Facebook shuts down pro-populist Italian pages before the EU elections. Facebook has justified its dramatic move by claiming that the sites shared fake news, so-called hate speech, and divisive content regarding immigrants, vaccines, and Jewish people. Facebook has shut down 23 major populist Italian pages with 2.5 million followers just 2 weeks before the European elections. According to Italian media, the majority of the pages supported the populist parties La Lega, the League, and the Five Star Movement, M5S, who currently govern Italy in a contemporary coalition. We've been talking a lot about this in our private groups and in private settings with friends and family. And I believe we will probably get a good friend of ours to come on, looking to probably pull Timothy on to talk more about this. But there's speculation. Timothy talked to me this morning and speculation, and he's the first one that he knows of that's saying it. I will agree with him on this, that big tech companies are going to shut Trump out of Facebook and Twitter. Very, very, very good possibility that that's going to happen. This speculation, I will surmise that if it happens, could possibly be the best thing for us in the MAGA movement. Could be the best thing for us in America First agenda and keeping America great again, because wherever Donald Trump goes, that's where we all go. We'll all be there waiting for the very next tweet, the very next bit of information about the economy, the next bit of information about the trade deals and things that are going on, where our president is in contact with us constantly, day in and day out, throughout the evenings and in the mornings. It's just incredible how we're able to be connected to him and his message, and to be connected to each other so that we know that we're not left out in the dark and that we can share our thoughts and our information. This election 2020, it's like anything, nothing I've ever been a part of, because if you were with us back during 2015, or even going all the way back to our beginnings with Smith Radio, going all the way back to 2013, 2014, we were audio only all the way up until this past year. So during the election, we had no video coverage like this. But now that we do, this is very, very exciting. I'm fired up for these debates to start happening so that we can broadcast these debates live and give commentary back as well. This is going to be so exciting. And our good friend Michelle Malkin, this is what happened to her over the weekend. So this just happened to me at Facebook. The shadow of the valley of the band looms. Contingency plans in place. Hashtag fight the censors. So she posted this up on Facebook, and it says, "We removed something you posted. It looks like something you posted didn't follow our community standards." This is what she posted. "These are two of my friends, Laura Loomer and Gavin McInnes. They are banned from Facebook and Instagram for exercising their free speech, while violent jihad groups are allowed on these platforms to spread their murderous poison. I spoke out passionately about deplatforming at CPAC and have done what I can to use my voice to speak for the voiceless. Laura and Gavin are suing the radical forces, CARE, behind the insidious agenda to criminalize political dissent. I have donated to their causes and hope you will too. DefendGavin.com and LauraLoomer.us. I do not know how much longer it will be before I am next. Anyone and everyone who refuses to capitulate to the open borders Sharia enforcing social justice agenda is dangerous." I guess you can add SmythTV to the list, because we support you, Michelle. I agree with everything you said, absolutely. And something that I'm going to add to that is that I'm fine with Rashida Tlaib. I'm fine with Ilhan Omar, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for speaking their mind on social media platforms. No matter how hateful the rhetoric is, I have no problem with them telling us exactly who they are. We're live on Facebook. I don't know how much longer, but we'll see what happens. Go for it. All right, Facebook. Man. So Donald Trump gets banned on Facebook. Donald Trump gets banned on Twitter. It is Jack and the rest attempting to silence our president. However, there are so many politicians. I think every single politician out there and individuals running for office are all on Twitter, all on Facebook to have a social media presence. This is how you talk to the people. That's why this must be a free speech venue. That's exactly why, because all these politicians are on there. If you say, for example, Laura Loomer runs for office and gets elected as an official congressperson, what does Twitter do then? What does Facebook do? How do you censor an elected official? How do you censor them from social media? I don't see how it's possible. They've been trying to do it to Trump. They've taken down videos that he's put up. They've shadow banned tweets that he's had. And we all believe, and again, I told you I was talking with Timothy Schwartz this morning, and we both are in agreement that Donald Trump cannot drag his feet on this. He's got to step up. He's got to do this in a hurry to stop the censoring and stop the shadow banning and kicking individuals off like Michelle Malkin, who's a brilliant, beautiful, conservative woman, great mind, being shut out. She doesn't cuss. She doesn't hate. She's, I I'm just saying. And when you said to shut her down on Facebook, that she doesn't have a presence on Facebook anymore. This has got to stop. It's got to stop. And this is all in order to help the Democrats win in 2020. Democrats in 2020, this tweeted out by a friend of ours, Cody Buzzman 888. So 888. The America of the Democrats. Their track record speaks for itself. Their vision is not America's vision. Trump 2020.
Donald Trump is president of the United States. And as we look to our responsibilities to the American people, we can see that it's 7 months of failure.
It's the most populous state in the nation, and its economy is now the largest in the country. But this week, it made another list. Ranked last for quality of life,
Donald Trump creates a crisis, blames others for what's happening, and uses the ensuing chaos to demand a legislative solution that often harms even more people.
This is the Hawaii you usually see on TV, but just down the street is this, Hawaii's crisis of homelessness. Many end up on the streets, on beaches, in parks, and in tent cities. There are now more than 7,000 homeless in Hawaii, the highest per capita rate in the nation. About 5,000 of those are packed into Honolulu. Many struggle with drugs, alcohol, and mental illness.
We've talked about the infrastructure, creating an infrastructure.
In the heart of Los Angeles, rats are breeding, and a medieval disease is born again. Typhus. Typhus is popping up in LA's Skid Row, an area where homelessness sprawls across 50 city blocks. And an infectious disease eradicated in the 1800s that festers in filth and is spread by fleas and rats because the city allows hundreds of homeless people to set up shacks on the sidewalk and live there forever. Over time, squalor built up on the streets with rats feasting on rotting food mixed with sewage and used syringes. But far away from Skid Row, through rats and fleas, typhus traveled through the streets, and a deputy city attorney who works way up on the 6th floor at City Hall got infected.
I feel extraordinarily grateful that the Democratic Party has produced so many extraordinary candidates, each of whom brings a different set of skills and life experiences.
Pick any reason why this shouldn't be here, and it's there.
A world that feels more foreign with each step, an area woven with worries of environmental and safety concerns and crime.
I've seen needles on the ground. It's a tragedy that this is happening in Austin.
Yes, that is Maxine Waters, Mad Maxine, Nancy Pelosi. Yes, that's Nancy Pelosi and Mad Maxine, their areas. And now you're looking at Beto O'Rourke talking about the great ideas that Democrats have. And you see by those pictures in Austin. And folks, I lived out in Los Angeles. I've seen it. I know it is for real. Talked with a young lady that currently lives in L.A. I told her I left L.A. in 2012 and it was really, really bad. She said that it's gotten exponentially worse from 2012 till 2018. My mom came out to visit us, and we took her out to the beach at Santa Monica Beach. As we're walking, parked the car, walking down the sidewalk, walking to the Santa Monica Pier, homeless people laying on the ground, homeless people laying in bushes, drinking alcohol in the middle of the afternoon, out in public, which is illegal. It's public intox. But it doesn't matter. No arrest, no nothing. And why does Santa Monica have such a huge homeless population when you're talking about California? Because in Santa Monica, you can get 5 square warm meals a day for free handed out by the city of Santa Monica. You can also apply to get a room paid for. They'll pay for a no-tell motel room, pay for the room for up to 30 to 90 days for you. After that, then you have to leave for 30 days, but then you could go back. So why would you leave? You just stay there as a homeless individual in Santa Monica, and it's just the Democrats run that place. Look at Chicago. Democrats run that place. Look at San Francisco. Democrats run that place. Detroit City's trying to make a comeback. Look at that place. Everywhere the Democrats have shown up with their ideas, they ruin it. And this @Rod Stryker, breaking, communist Democrats are boycotting sex in a lame attempt to own pro-life conservatives. Great. Now they can go F themselves as often as they want without worrying about getting pregnant and murdering babies. Better yet, they should just all get neutered. MAGA. Then he posts up this picture. I honestly don't think any real men are missing out on these lunatic leftist sex ban anyways. Yes, juxtapose the beautiful women of the MAGA conservative movement versus the rough looking women of the left. Yes, very, very sad. Alyssa Milano tried to get trending hashtag sex, strike, go on strike, hold back the sex. And she got blasted from both sides, from the left and the right. The right making fun of her and cracking up and thinking that's a big joke. You had social justice warriors and leftists get extremely mad at her for objectifying women and their sexual reproductive abilities, if you will. And the whole thing is that she used sex as a weapon objectifying women. Yeah, not a very good one. That went viral all day yesterday. This also went viral as well. This by a friend at Shaniqua B. Stone. This is the face of the Democrats. You think we saw voter fraud in the last midterms? Hashtag vote red to save America. Rashida Tlaib slammed by House GOP over statement that Holocaust gives her kind of a calming feeling.
Democratic lawmakers are not defending Tlaib, though, as Republicans argue the things she casually told podcasters about the Holocaust are not safe.
It's dangerous when you do the research and you study the Hamas charter where they actually talk about murdering every Jew and saying that jihad is an obligation. And just last week in a Philadelphia Islamic community center, the Muslim American Society with ties, one of their founders is actually was the head of the Muslim Brotherhood.
As you remember, she's the one that said, impeach.
Because we're going to go in there, we're going to impeach them all.
Yeah, throw out the F-bomb. It's just unbelievable how she uses Saul Alinsky style tactics against Liz Cheney, saying that Liz Cheney is divisive and Trump divisive and their rhetoric is awful. No, what is awful is what she said. And this is Donald Trump weighing in. Democrat Representative Tlaib is being slammed for her horrible and highly insensitive statement on the Holocaust. She obviously has tremendous hatred for Israel and the Jewish people. Can you imagine what would happen if I ever said what she said and says? No, if any of us said half of what these individuals are saying, Muslims in Congress are saying, we would all be destroyed. It would be it. It would be end of your career. You would be shut down. And responding back to Donald Trump's tweet at Small Town Andrew, she is no better than her brother marrying Omar. Omar and Tlaib are both terrorist sympathizers. Disgusting what the Democrats have voted into office. Truly a disgrace. What the hell? Yes, absolutely. Why the prosecution isn't coming for her is because she's a Democrat. It's just unbelievable that they can get away with these things. It just truly is. And again, just to remind you, Rashida Tlaib said that just thinking about the Holocaust gives her a warming feeling. And the direct quote from her, there's always kind of a calming feeling when I think of the tragedy of the Holocaust. That it was my ancestors, Palestinians, who lost their land and some lost their lives, their livelihood, their human dignity, their existence in many ways has been wiped out in the name of trying to create a safe haven for Jews post-Holocaust, post-tragedy, and the horrific persecution of Jews across the world at that time. And I love the fact that it was my ancestors that provided that in many ways, said Tlaib. Again, if you look at what she said, the very first sentence, and then they put a comma, and she continued to speak, I honestly believe that she was saying her true feelings. It's right there, right there. It's always kind of a calming feeling when I think of the tragedy of the Holocaust, that it was my ancestor. She skipped a thought process wasn't, right there and started to pull back. It is just absolutely despicable, and what a disgrace to even allow those words to come out of your mouth in that form, that fashion, kind of reminiscent of some of the times that Hillary Clinton would say some really crazy things, and the way that she would say them, just really bad people. And now we have TV shows now sympathizing with the Democrats and flipping the narrative, changing the narrative like they do in Hollywood so many times by our good friend at Wayne Dupree's show. The hashtag Covington Boys student should include this in the NBC Universal lawsuit. The article by Wayne Dupree, NBC Law and Order, SVU, rewrites Covington incident by placing Ilhan Omar look-alike instead of the Native American Indian. Not only do they do that, but they also have the kid violently talking back at her, screaming at her in a confrontation that never happened.
You're an anti-Semite. Stop spitting in my face like some kind of animal. Hey, don't you dare call me an animal. You trying to rip off my hijab? What? You all saw? An act of aggression, no different than Israeli aggression against the Palestinian people. She's a liar.
That was posted an hour ago, along with a report that SVU arrested 2 Jewish teenagers for the assault on Nala Nassar.
We've made no arrests.
Someone leaked that you did. Jewish students planning a trip to Israel. Things would have been a lot easier if it was some alt-right thugs.
Would have been easier if it was some alt-right thugs. Guys, we're living in a different world nowadays. This is, the battle lines are drawn, and Hollywood is doing everything they can to rewrite history. For people to watch that and see that, they're going to think of it in a different context, in a different way. And it's just absolutely, it's horrible what they're doing. And I think the lawyers should absolutely go after them. And just wrapping up, going back real quick to Rashida Tlaib, just wrapping this up. She tweeted out saying, policing my words, twisting and turning them to ignite vile attacks on me will not work. All of you who are trying to silence me will fail miserably. I will never allow you to take my words out of context to push your racist and hateful agenda. The truth will always win. And this from one of our friends at American Band 911. You are the aggressor, not Americans. All your phony attacks, it's all BS. It's all propaganda, and you are the one that's promoting attacks on Americans. Your anti-Semitism is well known and well documented. Your hatred for America is evident. Congress needs to bring you up on charges, removed from office, have you stripped of all and any of your rights, jailed permanently, or sent back to the country that you came from. We don't need hate. I'll hit the like on both of them, but I don't agree with the last part. I don't necessarily agree to throw her back to another country. However, I absolutely do believe that she should be confronted because of her hatred for America and the fact that she is Islamic, practicing Muslim, should not be allowed to be in Congress. But you and I both know that Congress or our government will never stop this from happening. So we as Christians have to step it up. We as Christians have to reach out to Muslims and those that are being enslaved by the culture of Islam, to show them that the culture of freedom, to be able to live free, the culture of love and caring and understanding is Christianity. It's Christ, not some made up cult called Islam. And at CORDICON, our friend Sean, it is good versus evil. Take a listen to this.
You know, we all say we have to identify the threat. Well, I think the one who identified it the best was Erdogan from Turkey, when he said, Islam is Islam. There are no modifiers. Democracy is the train we ride to our ultimate objective. He couldn't have said it any plainer. And until you recognize that Islam is a political movement masquerading as a religion, you're never going to come to grips with it. And as far as a strategy, let me just conclude one thing. And as I just had in my latest op-ed, the Obama administration has a strategy. It's very simple. Any thinking American should be able to grasp it. It's anti-American, anti-Western, it's pro-Islamic, it's pro-Iranian, and pro-Muslim Brotherhood. And with that, I'll yield the mic.
Thank you, sir. That from retired Admiral Lyons. Thank you very much, sir. Outspoken during the Obama era. This is a flashback, folks. 2015. This is when he spoke back in 2015. We knew it then, and now we're starting to see it come to fruition now. It's just so unfortunate how Islam is now taking in America, in our government, in our system, and our Congress people being elected to Congress, which should and was at one point in time illegal. Islamic Muslims were not allowed by law to be elected to Congress. Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you, John McCain and the likes for revoking that law back in the 90s. Just so frustrating. So frustrating, folks. But we got to keep plugging along and keep exposing it for what it is. And this happened over the weekend as well. At a Red Pill Report. Follow this guy, this great breaking news. Usually faster than I could get it. I mean, that's why I follow him. But a Red Pill Report. FBI discovers homegrown jihadi training camp in Alabama, similar to the one in New Mexico. Washington SBG. At first glance, it looks like an abandoned dump. But this plot of land in Macon County, Alabama, is described in an FBI search warrant as a makeshift military-style obstacle course belonging to a small group of terrorists led by Sergei Wahaji, who owned the property up a long dirt road, but just a few miles downtown Tuskegee. We already know that Border Patrol agents are already saying that tens of thousands of the refugees or the ones seeking asylum or the ones that get away that they don't catch at the border, the southern border, are from Islamic descent. And a lot of them are coming from the countries that are on the banned country list, Donald Trump's travel ban that has been put in play. So they're circumventing the travel ban by flying to Mexico and then making their way up the trek to America. And as I talked about this last week, the month of Ramadan is in full effect. Ramadan today at Helper 2. Today, Monday, May 13th, 2019, is the 7th day of the Islam Ramadan. And in those 7 days, there have been 198 people killed in the name of Islam. In the past 30 days, there were 101 Islamic attacks in 20 countries, in which 703 people were killed and 1,166 people injured. This response to a tweet at HM75015. Speaker Pelosi must take action against Rashida Tlaib, censure Tlaib, vile, racist, anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish comments. Tlaib slammed by House GOP over statement that Holocaust gives her a kind of calming feeling. She also supports the Muslim Brotherhood, which we know is a terrorist organization. She also supports CARE, which is a very well-known supporter of terrorism and Islam. So when you think 2020 Democrats, this is what you need to be thinking about and talking about. We cannot put up with this anymore. We really, really, really have to make a stand. And as a Christian, we've got to be more open and willing to talk to Muslims about the freedom that is Christianity. They just don't know that it's out there because if they did, I don't know anybody that wants to live in a slave state, if you will. Human nature, human desire is to always want to be free. Those that persecute and keep us in a slave state are the ones always at the top. This has been going on since human time began. This has been going on where one individual trying to dominate a whole section of other individuals, money, power, whatever it be. And America founded as the government to serve the people. First time that has ever happened in all of human history. That's why America is an exception to the rule, American exceptionalism. And we need to keep it that way, to where the government serves the people. We don't serve the government. And at Robert Dunlop 947, let me get this straight. Thoughts and prayers is bull, and I'm a man of faith. If you ever wanted to know the definition of an oxymoron, that would be it. The Democrats hate God, hate the truth, and suck. So this is Booker on CNN. Is your Democrats on display?
So when I'm president of the United States, I'm taking a fight to this issue like folks will have never seen before, because we're better than this as a country. Uniquely American problem. No other country has this kind of carnage. More people in my lifetime have died in this nation due to gun violence and in all the wars from the Revolutionary War to now. We are not going to give thoughts and prayers, which to me is just bull. And I'm sorry to say that as a man of faith, but I was taught that faith without works is dead. We're going to bring a fight with everything that I have to solve this problem, because it's solvable.
Spartacus. My Spartacus moment, Booker. Yes, again, Booker saying thoughts and prayers is bull, and then saying you're a man of faith. No, that doesn't work. It's oxymoron for sure. But here's the thing that he just said. He said that gun violence in America has killed more people in America than all the wars going all the way back to did he say the Revolutionary? What? That's insane. That is absolute nonsense. That's beyond. That's one of those things, those Saul Alinsky tactics. You tell a lie so big that people say, well, he wouldn't lie about that. That's too big of a lie. I mean, nobody would lie about that. It just wouldn't be good to lie about that. No, that's Booker, a liar. Thanks, man. So you got Booker. Now we got Joe Biden. God bless Joe. At Megavolt001, hashtag Biden, hashtag Sneaky Joe, hashtag Rand Paul. Rand Paul, Americans will be shocked to know what Joe Biden's son was up to. Joe Biden was asking the prosecutor to lay off the company that Hunter Biden was working for $50,000 a month. For those of you listening to the show, you're not shocked about that because we've been reporting on this.
Where chairmanship just left off right there, that perhaps Congress should consider making it illegal to engage foreign governments, foreign assistance in campaigns. You agree?
Well, I think the American people will be shocked and dismayed to know that Joe Biden's son was making $50,000 a month just a couple of months after he was dishonorably discharged from the military for drugs. $50,000 a month. I think most Americans will be dismayed that the president's son was doing this while Joe Biden was actually lobbying to have this company, go free of prosecution. My understanding, this was reported in the New York Times, Joe Biden was asking the prosecutor to lay off of the company that Hunter Biden was working for $50,000 a month. That's kicked out of the military. That's extraordinary.
That's not what was reported. In fact, he was on an anti-corruption
drive. That's exactly what was reported, yes. That he got $50,000 a month right after he was kicked out of the military.
So, as you see, we got to get off of that. No, Rand Paul. Come on, man. Don't be talking about Joe Biden. And don't be talking about his son make $50,000 a month. Well, and that's something else too, folks. Joe Biden's son apparently discharged from the military for drugs. I don't know how he couldn't have pulled strings on that one, but wow, it must have been really bad for Joe Biden's son to be dishonorably discharged from the military because of drugs. It had to have been so bad because there's a lot of cronyism and nepotism in the military as well, but it had to have been really something bad. But yeah, again, got to turn this thing on to Trump. It's not about Joe Biden and prosecuting. It's about whether Trump should be allowed to even say, hey, we should be looking at what Joe Biden's son was doing. We absolutely should be looking at what Joe Biden's son was doing. Without a doubt. He was doing deeds with China and the Ukraine, colluding companies together, having Chinese members on the board of his company working with a third-party company to buy out and get information in America that China would normally be allowed to have that information. But now that they bought that company out and the members of the board are Chinese, they got the information. Oh, what a nightmare. This is so awful, these Democrats. Nonstop. It's the same thing with the Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar being privy to documents that terrorists would love to get their hands on. This is an absolute true nightmare with the Democrat Party. Now, I know AOC is not running for president in 2020, but she will have to be running for her seat again in 2020. So that's why she's on, the Democrat 2020. And this at Jake Palmieri. Wow, AOC is now claiming that she was being sarcastic when she said the world was over in 12 years. Watch the video. I'll let you guys decide. ThePalmieriReport.com.
Millennials and people and, Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it?
This at Stephanie Hazen, bruh, you literally flat out said 12 years till the earth ends, and now you're like, haha, JK, that was sarcasm. The GOP is lame and doesn't get the jokes. This is a new one for me. I'm not following her, but I will now crush the follow. AOC gets it. She does. She gets it. Because that's hard to believe that one yourself. It's difficult when somebody says that, okay, Alexandria, can you help me out here? The world is literally going to end in 12 years. Remember the vice president said it was going to end in 10 years? I didn't go over very well for him. And so now she's starting to see that's not going to go over well for her. And this is her exact tweet at AOC. This is a technique of the GOP to take dry humor, sarcasm, literally, and fact check it. Like the world ending in 12 years thing, you'd have to have the social intelligence of a sea sponge to think it's literal. But the GOP is basically Dwight from The Office, so who knows? Yeah, well, you did say that literally. I believe you even used the word literally, but that's okay. You got to walk that one back because it's getting so bad with this global warming thing. I wish it'd warm up here in Cincinnati, folks. Oh, my goodness. I think the high today was 53. It's overcast, rainy. Oh, just wish it would warm up. Global warming take hold and give us the weather of South Florida or something. Anyways, crazy nonsense. And more AOC stuff. She gets owned. You see, these are the videos. This is the information you guys will never see on mainstream media. And we thank our good friend, SERREMMY.
I don't think that the president should have tweeted that video that he tweeted. Do I think he should have gone to jail for it? Absolutely not. But I don't think he should have done that. I think that by endangering Congresswoman Omar, he was playing with this line. And
well, I disagree. She endangered herself. Okay, that's not endangerment. By showing the truth. So showing the truth is endangerment. It's inciting violence to show the truth. That is fascism.
Well, sir, I don't think anyone's trying to ban that speech.
His right to show the truth of what happened is just as valid as her right to say whatever she wants to say.
And sir, that's why that's why there's no charges being brought up against him.
Criticized by you as though there should be charges.
No, I don't think there should be charges. I want to make sure that
he's inciting violence against her.
I think he is.
That's absurd. You cannot incite violence.
Yeah, well, I think he is.
Inciting violence is illegal.
So at this town hall where there wasn't very many people there, I would have absolutely loved to have gone there. I wouldn't mind meeting AOC. I'd like to really see if she really is the person she is or if she's acting that way. You can tell that better. The body language, you tell that better. Engaging her like this, as this individual engaged her about inciting violence, saying that Donald Trump is inciting violence against Ilhan Omar. Rashida Tlaib or whatever, stating the fact and telling the truth about what you all are doing in Congress and who you are affiliated with is not us inciting violence. It's us exposing you for who you are. And this from the great mind of @RealCandaceO. If there's one clip I wish every Black American would watch, this would be it. I will never stop fighting for the freedom of Black minds. The racist Democrats @Jerry Nadler, @Ted Lieu, etc. have at long last met their match. We will be free. #Blexit.
Let me ask you something. Do you hate Americans with black skin color?
Absolutely not. I actually love Americans with black skin color so much that I'm willing to fall on the sword 1,000 times for them to wake up and realize that we are being lied to, abused, and used by the Democrat Party.
I'm baffled because in the chairman's opening statement, he said that you openly associate with purveyors of hate.
Yes, purveyors of hate by his definition is anybody that supports the president. I support the president because he's done a tremendous job in helping the Black community, despite all of the rhetoric from the media and leftists, which do not want him to be successful.
Tell me a little bit about how the president has helped the Black community, if you would, please.
Well, he's lowered the Black unemployment rate. It's the lowest it's ever been in the history. He's getting us off of our feet. We see, I believe the last number I checked was 3.5 million people are off of food stamps, something that the Black caucus sat down and didn't applaud. Neither did any of the Democrats applaud, because they want a system where Blacks are dependent on the government. They are the people that put in place the policies that broke down the Black family. And the biggest problem that's facing our community is father absence. In every room that I've been in with the president, he talks about real issues, and he doesn't pander to us. He doesn't do Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Southern drawl accent and speaking to us like we're slaves. He asks us important questions. And the most important question he could have asked was, Black America, what do you have to lose? Because we were already losing under Democrat leadership.
Turning Point USA. Wow, what an incredible mind. This gives me truly gives me hope for the future, for the youth that's coming up right now. What an incredible woman to be able to have that kind of, she's very young. I believe she's in her 20s. And to have that kind of speaking ability and the wherewithal and the ability to speak back truth to these old white male Democrats that are coming at you, coming back and attacking you with lies. This happened over the weekend too. It's a busy weekend, folks, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that I have missed. But @V_actually, two giddy socialist millionaires trying to tell us how much they care, almost cringeworthy as Elizabeth Warren drinking a beer. This is Bernie Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez wrapping up a get-together, a scope, a view.
We can win this thing, okay? Mm-hmm. Let's go forward together on it, all right?
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
That at Breitbart.com. Oh, so creepy. Oh, so weird and uncomfortable. These two out-of-touch millionaires trying to tell us that gotta go out there, gotta go out and get it. And this Ryan Saavedra, fascist Kamala Harris. If elected, I will take gun dealers' licenses away with executive action. There you go, folks. Your Democrat Party, full display, telling us exactly what they're going to do. Thank you very much. And as we wrap this up with the Spygate, unbelievable stuff, folks. Unbelievable. As our president tweets out, just another abuse of power in a long series of abuses of power by the Democrats that began during the Obama administration, continued through the Mueller FBI operation, and now the baton has been passed to Jerry Nadler to continue to abuse power to harass President Trump. @USCG_proud.
If you go back and look through the events that led up to the Holder contempt citation, that has much more drawn out over a longer period of time. The Justice Department had initially lied about what happened in Fast and Furious, and the congressional pursuit of that had gone on for a couple of years. Holder was flamingly withholding stuff that there didn't seem to be any real legal basis for. And so they held him in contempt.
This is an argument about 2% of redactions in a report that's been
what we're talking about now is, I'm not even sure it's 2%. I read that it's 2 lines and 7 partial lines in a report that's 448 pages. So there's no evidence there's anything really of substance that would make a difference in the conclusions of the report that's being withheld. And what's more, the complaining congressmen have the opportunity to go down to the Justice Department and read nearly all of it.
That's right. They could go down and read nearly all of it. And thank you, Andrew McCarthy, at Andrew C. McCarthy, for tweeting this at 15 pounds to go. In any event, the FBI initial conclusion that Russia hacked the DNC was the foundation upon which all Spygate investigations started. And that conclusion was all based upon CrowdStrike's work product, at least at first. And this, if you look down in here, it's James Comey talking back and forth with the Chairman Burr, saying that they couldn't, that the DNC would not allow the FBI to look at their computers, and instead they gave their computers to CrowdStrike to look through the computers, and then CrowdStrike, a third party paid by the Clintons or paid by the DNC, would then let the FBI know what was real and what wasn't real. This also at Andrew Hyman S. BuzzFeed.com article. DNC officials said they made the eyebrow-raising choice to go with a private firm because they were worried they'd lose control of their operations right in the middle of a campaign. Not only that, but the FBI was investigating Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. Better the DNC figured to handle things privately. This at Megavolt 001, Representative John Radcliffe, James Comey under investigation for violations of the Espionage Act. Thank you very much from the Gateway Pundit. Yes, James Comey under investigation, folks. And this at Wayne Dupree show. And remember, folks, Wayne Dupree comes on right after our show at 8 p.m. Graham working to declassify sensitive documents about the anti-Trump Steele dossier. And this at Robert Dunlap. What were you Democrats thinking when you voted yes for this guy? This goes back to the early 90s. Now, Attorney General Barr, this goes back to the 90s where he was being questioned and this is on C-SPAN.
We have a standard at the Department of Justice, an indictment standard. We feel we need to have evidence sufficient to support an indictment in hand that we can prove our case in court. And a lot has been said about not wanting to have a political Justice Department. And I agree with that. And there's a lot of different ways politics can come into play in a case. It can be on the one hand, and I think many of you are thinking of this, you shouldn't sweep anything under the rug. Don't cut anyone a special break. Don't show favoritism. Don't withhold an indictment that should be laid down because of political influence. But there's another side to the coin, and that is don't hand down an indictment because of political pressure. Don't lower the standard of indictment just because it's politically convenient. That standard, if I become Attorney General, is going to be one standard, and it's not going to be changed for anybody in this country. And I don't care how much political pressure is brought to bear. I don't care what the op-eds say. I don't care what the journalists say if it's not fast enough for them. And I don't care what the political pressures are. That standard is staying where it is. And right now, the career prosecutors in the department, and believe me, I've been pressing them, have explained to me very coherently what evidence is lacking that prevents us from laying down an indictment today.
Here's the vote count. 51 votes were necessary to confirm William Barr. Democrats, 3 said yes. Three Democrats said yes. 51 Republicans said yes. 1 Republican said no. So anyway, 3 Democrats jumped the aisle to vote for confirm Attorney General William Barr. I absolutely think that this is probably one of the greatest things that Donald Trump has given. And as we wrap up the show, we got to talk about the stages of grief. We got to help the Democrats heal. H-E-A-L, not H-E-E-L, Hillary Clinton. This is our good friend at SERREMMY. Thank you for putting this video up. Representative Gates.
In this committee, I laid out the stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. First, my Democratic colleagues were in denial when they saw that there was no collusion after saying for 22 months that the president was an agent of the Russian government. They were in denial when they saw the conclusion that there wasn't. Then there was anger. It had to be the Attorney General's fault. Mueller didn't make a decision on obstruction. Somebody had to. The Attorney General did. So they got mad at him. Well, now we know the third step, bargaining. Well, Mr. Attorney General, you've given us 92% of the Mueller report, but we have to bargain for the remaining 8% because that's really where we think the action is. Well, Mr. Attorney General, you spent 5 hours before the Senate Judiciary Committee. 3 of our presidential candidates got to question you. You offered to come before the House Judiciary Committee. You offered to come for an additional hour of questioning, but we have to bargain so that our staff lawyers can ask you questions. Now, I don't think it's a good sign that the next sign after bargaining is depression. So I feel for my Democrat colleagues, but after that we get to acceptance, and that's sure something that I'm looking forward to.
Acceptance? I don't know. We'll ever get to acceptance. The Democrats won't accept anything. Wow. I just want to see how it goes in 2020 when Donald Trump wins re-election. These Democrats, they're going to be in such a great depression. It is going to be unbelievable. But the voters will be happy. There will be no depression because of the booming economy and the way things are going in the right direction finally for the first time ever. I was speaking with my dad over the weekend and we were talking politics as we usually do. And we're talking about George Bush and the Bush administration and how Dick Cheney just a few years ago said, yeah, maybe that was bad policy for us to go by, to not react to media, not speak up. We decided to take the silent road and hold back. And when they called us names and they made fun of us and they ridiculed us, and they lied with the media and the Democrats, we just stayed silent because, don't want to make them upset. Just let it be. They just completely destroyed you. And we love the fact that Donald Trump is in the ring, going at them, taking the fight to them, and not giving up. We cannot allow this to go any other way. We've got to expose them and keep going at them head on. And again, folks, you're watching New Right Network's original series, SmythTV. Your host, Brian Smith, giving you the breaking news of the day, wrapping it all up, making sense of it, exposing the fake news, and giving you the real news Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Crush the like, crush the share, tell your friends and your family about it. And then for Monday motivation, holy smoke, man, I get motivated to walk away, hashtag walk away from the Democrats, hashtag Blexit, hashtag Jexit. So the blacks, black Americans, alternative American lifestyle, and now the Jewish Americans. All y'all, you walk away. Oh, man. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for Tuesday Thoughts.
You've been listening to New Right Network, mobilizing, countering, energizing. Online at newrightnetwork.com.